This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group, and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices in business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Dr. Raj Bawa. Dr. Bawa is an entrepreneur, inventor, professor, and researcher. He has authored over 70 publications, and he will be discussing nanotechnology. Thank you for coming to our show.
Thank you.
And we appreciated that very much. So what's the nanotechnology, nanomedicine is all about?
Well,
tell me a little bit.
You've probably heard both the words for the last decade, I guess, but there's really no internationally accepted definition of nanotechnology or nanomedicine. But essentially, if I had to define nanotechnology, I would define it as the science or engineering or art of manipulating materials at the nanoscale or atomic molecular scale and ending up with something that's far superior than the bulk counterpart. So a quick example would be if you take silver. Silver is inert, block of silver or a bangle of silver, and you take that and you make it smaller in size by granulating it, let's say. So you have nano silver. And nano silver now all of a sudden has novel properties. It's a very revolutionary material in the sense that it's very reactive. It's antibacterial all of a sudden. It has totally different optical chemical properties. So now you've converted something that was a bulk, large compound, large structure rather, into a smaller material with novel properties, and you manipulated it. So that's kind of what nanotechnology means.
Simple layman terms.
Simple layman's terms, so you can relate to. And there's products on the market pertaining to nano silver, a lot of them.
So why there's so much buzz and hype and excitement and confusion regarding this field?
Very good. You're very well informed. Those are all things that are talked about nanotechnology and nanomedicine. Part of the reason is that nanotechnology does offer some unique avenues and properties into materials mainly, and thereby has applications in all sectors of life, aerospace to clothing to medicine to transportation. All of them are covered really with nanotechnology. And there's so much hype because there's so much potential applications of it. And there's a lot of misinformation because there's really no international definition on it, and there's also a lot of scenarios thrown out there that could be that these materials should be regulated or there should be a moratorium on them, and they're really toxic across the board, which is incorrect. It's all nanomaterials are not created equal. You have to go case by case. So therefore, you have different sectors, for example. Like in medicine, you have these nanotherapeutics that are already changing the way we image, for example, certain cancers and other lesions.
So it can penetrate deep?
Well, the size, because of the size, you can now have drugs that will cross the blood-brain barrier, for example, which other therapeutics have a hard time going through. So you can have some lesions or cancers of the brain that can be treated with this. You can have a very site-specific delivery of a therapeutic. So the current protocol is to deliver an active agent or a drug to the body, and it's systemic delivery, so you have effect of that throughout the body. And this nanotechnology now offers very site-specific targeting of a particular active agent or a drug to a particular area of the body. So you're only treating that area and leaving the rest of the healthy tissue alone. So you don't have the side effects. You can deliver less amount of it. The patient compliance will be better because there'll be less toxicity associated with that. And there's actually a lot of products based on that very principle.
Give me some real nano products in the market.
There's a ton of nano products on the market. We're not talking hundreds. We're talking thousands. Thousands of products that are already...
In all walks of life.
In all walks of life. We have tennis rackets that have been reinforced with carbon nanotubes. We have bumpers of cars that have, again, made stronger with carbon nanotubes. We have therapeutics, antibody delivery mechanisms that are being used for cancer, for imaging, for more precise localization of tumors.
So it's readily available in the marketplace?
It's available in the marketplace. There are drugs that have been approved by the FDA that are already commercialized in the market. There's a lot of textiles, for example. They're made, I actually have a tie that is hydrophobically coated with a nanomaterial, and it repels water on any staining. So that's a direct application. 20% of the nano products that are in the market, by one estimate, are based on nano silver products. So you have socks that are antibacterial because they have a layer or coating of nano silver particles in it. You have intravenous delivery devices that are approved by the FDA that have a nano-coated silver inside. Lot of products. There's a lot of cosmetics. A lot of them may not be marketed as nano, but they're still containing nano materials, nano cosmetics, nano capsules, L'Oreal's Plenitude. There's a host of products on the market like that.
So there are a lot of products that are in the marketplace, and people may not know that this relates to the nanotechnology.
Exactly.
And I think now that you elaborated it, you shed some light, so I understand it. Perhaps the viewer don't understand it either. Is there a global race, and how does the U.S. fit into the big picture? So who has penetrated this market?
Well,
who got the market? Who cornered the market?
It's a very good question. It's really depends on the field within nano, because nano is sort of an umbrella term. It's encompassing material science, medicine, pharmaceuticals, you can name it. It's all encompassed by that. So in medicine, I think the U.S. and Europe would be the leaders in this area.
In the medicine.
In the medicine area. The other areas of nanotechnology that are at the forefront is nanoelectronics. And in that, again, it's
mostly Asian?
Mostly Asian. Japan would be a leader there, and the US also, because that's another area where nanotechnology is really having a major impact. So you have products that are already positioned to be in the market or already on the market. As you know, everything's been miniaturizing over the decades. Everything, more information being put on a transistor, more information put on a smaller chip, and smaller, cheaper. And that's really the focus anyway, of things being cheaper, smaller, more efficient, miniaturization. And nano just sort of fits in a normal realm of things anyway.
What about the manufacturing sector?
The manufacturing sector is, again, based, a lot of it is overseas in Asia.
Wow.
But we are also in the US producing a lot of very unique nano materials, nanotherapeutics, nano devices. And a lot of these are going to, for example, if you look at medicine, they may revolutionize certain sectors of medicine, and they may be just evolutionary in other areas. But you're definitely going to see all of these more and more in the marketplace in the future.
Is this more cost effective than any other technology which is not a nanotechnology? Is it advanced enough to be utilized and used and bring the products in the market and being more cost effective and do things better, faster, and cheaper?
Well, again, you have to go case by case.
Okay.
You can't generalize.
In general?
In general, yes, because first of all, you're going to have a product. If you look at the pharmaceutical industry, they're only interested in products that are safer, more efficacious, and better than what's on the market.
Okay.
They have to eventually sell what they're producing.
Okay.
So they have to go with those criteria, let's say. And in those areas, yes, nanomedicine will offer the site-specific delivery. It will reduce the toxicity issue. You can produce it cheaper. You can also actually reach out to some compounds or products that have been shelved by the pharmaceutical industry and reformulate them as nano compositions and now market it all of a sudden. And there are plenty of examples of that. Elan Pharmaceuticals, Irish company,
sure.
They have 6 products on the market just based on that. There were these drugs that were created but never used because they were too toxic. So all of a sudden now these products are on the market thanks to nanotechnology.
Well, that leads me to another question. Is there any health, environmental, or safety concerns of nanotechnology?
Yes, very, very good question. A kind of hot button issue right now in the Congress and also globally. A lot of people are looking at nanotechnology and trying to see whether all of these should be regulated. Some of these should be regulated. Are all toxic? You again can't generalize. So for example, you look at carbon nanotubes. Carbon nanotubes are man-made materials of carbon, and they are revolutionary materials by themselves. They have applications in medicine for drug delivery, for example. They have applications in nanoelectronics. For example, NEC is producing a laptop battery that will last 18 hours, and based on carbon nanohorns, which are a form of carbon nanotubes. So here's an application that will impact all of us. Imagine that. Things of that nature. So, and then you have carbon nanotubes that also can be toxic. But again, there's nothing that you can say as carbon nanotubes is this bottle holding all types of carbon nanotubes. You can have single-wall carbon nanotubes, double-wall carbon nanotubes, different molecular weight, functionalized carbon nanotubes. So you have a lot of variety of these, and depends on which one you're talking about. So some are toxic, a lot of them are not toxic, and that's the beauty of nanotechnology and nanoscience, that you want to apply those and have applications of those that are useful to the consumer, that are safe and efficacious, and discard the ones that are not. And that's what a consumer should be excited by, that there are parts of nanotechnology that we're going to avoid, a large number of them that are very beneficial to us and very useful, and those are the ones that we would like to apply in our living in a daily life.
So is there enough government regulations on this thing, oversight?
Well, I mean, there is some oversight, and
but not enough.
Not enough. There's, for example, in the U.S., it would be the EPA, the FDA. Those would be the two you could think of.
Right.
The FDA has sort of been dragging its feet with respect to nanotherapeutics and nanovaccines and nanopharmaceuticals.
Why is that?
I think there's a lack of expertise there. That's one of the main things, and also there's
lack of funds.
Lack of funding, and it's kind of the same problems that the FDA faces with other things.
Right.
And their budget is always under a cloud and that sort of thing, and also a willingness to tackle this very tough issue as to should we regulate all therapeutics that are nano-based? Should we only target a few of them? But there isn't even any guidance from the FDA. That's the sad part. And the only thing that we know is a document released in 2007. So there hasn't been anything since 2007 at all. And we are promised that every few years there'll be.
So there's not enough resources.
It's a combination, and they're very secretive about it. So it's a very tough issue for them also to get a handle on how to address it. And it would be better to get the expertise from the outside, where the expertise really does reside in nanomedicine and nanotherapeutics, and then apply that. And then the EPA is the same way. They're a little bit better. They're more transparent with respect to nanotechnology. So you are seeing a little bit more from the EPA than the FDA, sadly.
So you're excited about this new technology? How much you engage and involved with this thing? What's your role in this?
You're absolutely right. I'm very excited with this. I've been working in the nano field for over 10 years. I do benchtop work in cancer nanotechnology and cancer medicine. We have a couple of products that are in phase 2 testing currently in Houston at MD Anderson, and also at the Lombardi Center.
That's the Cancer Institute at MD Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I collaborate with researchers at Lombardi Cancer Center in Georgetown. That's one place I work with. And also I'm an adjunct professor at Rensselaer Polytechnic in Troy, New York. So I engage there in drug delivery, and I also do patent law. So I actually see the other side of it, where there are products that now are requiring protection via patents, that people want to commercialize them. So I draft the patent applications and prosecute them. So I do both sides, if you may, of the equation.
So how do you get time to do all these things?
Well, I guess I divide my time diligently, but it's very exciting to me. So it doesn't even look like it's work. It feels like I'm just enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm. So what I hear from you, the future looks bright?
Yes, the future, especially in medicine, in nanoelectronics, I would say, and also in materials.
In materials as well.
You're going to see more and more. And like, for example, in the past, you've always developed something and then sought applications for that. In the future, you're going to actually find an application, go back to the lab, and create exactly what you want that application to fit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bawa, and thank you for coming over here. I enjoyed talking with you, and I'm sure the audience will benefit from your experience, especially in nanotechnology. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. This is Frank Islam from FI Investment Group, wishing you a great week.